So you're going to be asked to accept the recording. Okay, so I'm going to read that again. Siobhan, thanks. It's just 46-year-old with heart palpitations for the last 3 months. GP has proposed blood tests to check for deficiencies, thyroid function. Depending on the results, you may do a 24-hour monitor. But you met Dr. Brennan 16 years ago. He advised you to do TM, and you did that, and you found it very, very beneficial. So I think, Siobhan, you're doing all the right things. Get the tests done by the doctors. They'll see. It may be nothing, you know. It may be nothing, or it may be something, and they can advise on it. Maybe when you have the results back, the doctors could even give you better information when they know more about what it is. But Rajvinder, any general recommendations for palpitations?
Yeah. I wonder, Siobhan, because you're 46, so I'm not sure if you're perimenopausal, because sometime coming to that age, the change in the hormones, the palpitation is quite common in the woman around that age. So your blood test will be able to tell you if there is any fluctuation in your hormones. So definitely rule that one out. And you said you're a Vata kind of a body type, so definitely look into that as well. Are you doing too much, or your mind is worried? Is your sleep okay? So these things can easily cause Vata imbalance, and Vata imbalance can cause palpitations, dizziness, all those things. So make sure you're sleeping well. So a simple thing you can do is you can use a Vata aroma oil, because nose is gateway to the brain, as we always says, and it open up your heart chakra, it open up brain hemispheres, and it bring more oxygen to the brain, and that can help with the circulation. So let's say a drop of Vata aroma oil, rub it between your hands, and then inhale it deeply. And you can also practice simple alternate nostril breathing exercises and try to bring more oxygen to your brain and open up your chest and heart chakra. Yeah, so there's a lot of factors to consider: anxiety, sleep, your digestion, and your Vata imbalance. So yeah, so look into if there is anything that is a tick for you.
Okay, I think that's good advice, but I think you're doing the right thing. Just get the test done and see what the situation is. Definitely keep doing your TM twice a day for 20 minutes as well is a very good thing to do, you know. Yeah. So Christine, I'm having difficulty getting ground cardamom. Can I grind it myself from cardamom pods? What is the difference between black and green pods, and which has the best health benefits? Rajvinder, you're our expert in that area.
Yeah, and Dr. Brandon is here if you want to meet him.
Okay, I'll go find Dr. Brandon and let him on.
Thanks. Yeah, Christine, it's better that you do it yourself because then you're not adding anything into it. Sometimes there might be things added because cardamom is a very expensive spice. And the difference between green and black is the green one is more on the cooling side, which is very good for Pitta people, and the black one is more on the warming side, which is very good for Kapha people. So those are the health benefits. But in small amount, it's good for all the 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. If you're Pitta dominance, you stick with the green one. And in the winter, like your Christmas spice mix and things like that, or making rice dishes, because rice could be slightly heavy, or anything to do with the gluten, if you're cooking any of those dishes, then the black cardamom is better.
Okay, very good. I think we have Dr. Brannon online. Dr. Brannon, are you with us?
I am indeed.
Very good. Good to see you. Welcome along.
Here.
So I think that, sorry, Dr. Naheed.
Yeah.
Is she there?
Yeah, I see her.
Great.
Okay, we'll say hello to Dr. Naheed, because none of us have seen Dr. Naheed for quite a while, because Dr. Naheed was back in India and she has a new baby, Naheed. Oh, but I'm not seeing any camera come up or anything, so maybe she's
not muted though. She's unmuted anyway, so
okay. No, I can't unmute her anyway, so there's something wrong with that. Anyway, I'll keep an eye on it. So as I said, I did get some questions by email. I did ask people for questions by email, so I don't want to ignore them. We don't have too many of them, so I'll just intersperse 1 or 2 of them as we go along. So the first one was from Andrew Prasad, and it said, after finishing PK for 3 weeks, what vitamins and other Ayurvedic medicine should I take, and how long should I rest? So I'll tell you what my answer was, and then I'll hand it over to Dr. Brennan. I said, really, whoever you did the panchakarma with really knows you best and will be able to recommend what they feel is most appropriate for you. In general, things like Amrit Kalash and maybe 50 plus multivitamin might be good, but there may be specific things going on with you, and whoever carried out the panchakarma because there had to be a doctor, there should have been an Ayurvedic doctor there overseeing that, is really best place to advise that. You did it for 3 weeks, so my advice is to take it easy for 3 weeks after that. So, Dr. Brennan, you can maybe add to that. You probably, I don't know if you know Andrew or not.
Andrew?
Andrew Prasad.
Andrew Prasad, yeah. So, Andrew, I think what Noel's advice has been very good. I'd certainly go along with everything he said. You generally rest for twice as long as the panchakarma, but the panchakarma is really the elimination treatment. So if you had, 3 weeks of enemas, or that would be a lot. I would imagine that your 3 weeks includes the home treatment and a week or two of enemas. So I'd say that the bastis to twice the length of the basti treatments, that you're being very light and that you're taking extra rest. And then, when you're coming off that period, you come back gradually to full diet. Don't suddenly have a T-bone steak because your poor digestion will get a bit of shock. But yeah, just gently come back to normal diet then. And yeah, I think the vitamin I would be adding in, because of the time of the year and the northern hemisphere, is vitamin D. So I would have a good supplement of vitamin D3 and K2. The 50 plus is a good all-round vitamin supplement. And Amrikalash, as Noel said, and there might be some other herbals based on how you've been, Andrew. But those would be the significant ones.
Okay. A lot of noise coming through somewhere. I'm actually not sure it's coming from you, Don, or not, but there's definitely some noise coming through. But anyway, maybe actually you're up for the next question as well, so we won't be able to find out whether it's you or not for a minute or two, because we just did a video on 50 plus, which I'll be sending out at the weekend. But Christine has a question. She says, I've been using Cytoplan 50 plus. So Cytoplan is a company in the UK that we really, really like their products, and we do have a vitamin D3 from them, and their food state as opposed to synthetic vitamins. So actually in the video I'm going to be sending out the weekend, Dr. Brennan explains what the difference is there and why we recommend this Cytoplan one, But anyway, Christine has been taking it first thing in the morning. She finds within a short time she has to urinate, and the urine is orange. When I don't take it, I have no issues. Am I just excreting the tablet within a couple of hours? So Don, it's not one I've come across before, but
it might be that vitamin C in the tablet is coloring the urine. And vitamin C, if you have it in your system, being a water-soluble vitamin, the body won't hold on to it. It'll immediately come out in the urine. And in general, I would say with vitamin C, I wouldn't bother supplementing with it unless I had a cold or, I was off form, because then your body needs a lot of it. It's a great antioxidant, so it actually works very well at that time. But generally, you probably get enough vitamin C from the vegetables and fruits that you're eating, especially the fruits. So, but it's there in the tablet as, I suppose, because it's a very complete mix of vitamins. So it could well be that, and not a problem.
It's not a problem. Yeah. So Rose St. Clair says, this is a good one. The actual equinox is Saturday, the 23rd of September at 7:50 a.m. BST, which I presume is British Standard Time. So we have a few more minutes of extra light left. Enjoy. So that's good news. We have an extra day. I knew the equinox was always in and around the 21st. It didn't necessarily have to be. I was with someone today, probably you all know this, but equinox, he said was a Latin word, equi meaning equal and noches meaning night, so equal night, so day equal to night. So maybe someone out there will contradict that or whatever, but anyway, so September the 23rd is the actual equinox, but we'll still celebrate it today anyway, because I think today was the traditional day. So Alison says, evening all. Siobhan says, thanks very much. Sarah says, great to be here. Thanks to you, doctors. And Noel, would like to know why morning headaches can occur at the change of season. I am Vata Pitta and careful about bedtimes, diet, and not eating after 7. Do meditation, pranayama, which all help, but can they be prevented? I have been a bit anxious, low mood, and tired. Thanks. So this would be headaches in the morning time. So Rajvinder, maybe.
It
You have
is
to-
muted.
Okay, Rajvinder, I have to go and find you and unmute you. Hang on a second. So you should be able to unmute yourself, Rajvinder.
Yeah,
Was
because there
that
was a
you
lot of
making that noise? Is that why you muted
No.
yourself?
no, I just was wondering, is that noise from Dr. Brennan and me? So I just unmuted myself to see, but that noise was still there.
Still there. So we'll have to blame Dr. Brennan then.
No, I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know. No. And the heat is there as well if you want to.
Okay.
So yes, Sarah, you said you're a Vata Pitta. So normally Vata people are quite sensitive at the junction of that when there's the season change 15 days before or 15 days after. That's what we call Ritu Sandhi in Ayurveda. And yes, they could be prevented. You're doing your meditation, you're doing your pranayam. I suggest maybe you add in before you go to bed, because you said it's morning time. So I presume is that you wake up with the headache. So maybe you need to calm down the vata. You need to unwind yourself before you go to the bed. If you have been anxious a bit, so sounds like your nervous system is worked up a bit. So take you can take one of the remedy as well, either deep rest just an hour before you go to bed. That will calm down your nervous system, and hopefully it keeps your adrenals kind of rested during the night. And you can also add in feet massage, a little bit of tapping around the face area, and you can even do a full body massage as well. And then just basically whatever works for you to calm down an hour before you go to the bed. So try that. I think it's your vata is a little bit acting up a bit. It's out of balance. Make sure your dinner is not too light. Be good that you're not eating after 7. That could be a slight fluctuation in your sugar level. So make sure your dinner is not too light and your lunch is good as well. So you might need to add a little bit extra to your food. Sometimes it could be the light food in the evening. For Vata people, I know it can disturb their balance, especially the nervous system.
Very good. One thing I'd add to that, I don't know, but if you take walks in nature or not, Sarah, but I definitely recommend get plenty of rest. As Dr. Rajvinder said, the deep rest is a very good herbal preparation, Ayurvedic herbal preparation, but walks in nature are really, really great, especially for helping deal with anxiety and low mood. I mean, I was out on the beach in Termonfeckin this afternoon. It was just a glorious day here, and it would lift anybody's spirits to be out in nature like that, So if you can find a nice place near where you live, some trees or woodland or seaside or something like that, definitely spending time with nature is also a great healer, Dr. Nahida, you with us?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you haven't come up with Oh, there you are. How you doing?
Hello,
Thank
welcome.
you. How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Great to
I
have you
want to
back.
see the baby. Where's the baby?
Congratulations.
Baby, baby sleeping.
Oh, the bit. Go and wake him up. Only joking. Only joking. How are you? Welcome back. We haven't seen you for, I don't know, it's a long time since we've seen you,
I
And
think 4 months or so.
4 months or so. Well, you're looking very well. And how's the baby?
Baby's good. Thank you.
Good. Great, great. We'll have to go and visit you soon, see the baby in person.
Yes,
So
please do come.
we will. So Alison, actually, I'll take one from the emails that came in. So this is from Loretta, and she says she's 3 questions pertaining to the detox program. Okay, well, Rajvinder, you can decide to answer these or not, or you might email Loretta either if they're very long, because the detox is something separate. But will the detox get rid of or reduce my sugar cravings? Can I continue to take my vitamin D3, K2, B complex, and blueberry capsules during the detox? I have Tulsi plant for tea. Can I drink Tulsi during the detox? And thank you. I'm really looking forward to starting on the 29th. So
can you send that email to me?
I'll forward the email to you, and then you just get back to Loretta and answer those things, because that's really pertaining to the detox itself, Okay, Loretta, Dr. Rajvinder will answer directly to you on the email, So Alison says, can you put Vata oil neat on skin or mix with almond or something? I sometimes put it on a little piece of cotton wool or tissue and sniff it from there, or put a few drops on the tissue and place it on top of a radiator. I'm not sure about putting it on the skin. I don't know, Dr. Naheed, do you want to take that one? Vata oil, you're familiar with it?
Which one?
Vata
oil,
aroma oil.
aroma oil.
I can't find the question. Noel. Can you read that for me, please?
It's just, can you put Vata aroma oil neat on the skin or mix with almond or something? She sometimes put a little piece on cotton wool. Like mostly aroma oils would be used in diffusers, you know, you'd put them in a few
Yes.
drops of water or a diffuser and do it that way.
I'm happy to use it on the skin. It's very diluted oil anyway. And it's basically for digestion if you want to put a little bit around your belly button. But if you're new, you can do a little test where you put tiny bit of oil back of your ear and see if it's causing any irritation. So like a patch test really, and then you're fine. Basically it's fennel aroma oil in it or sometime aniseed. It already has a base oil. But if you're not sure, you can add a base oil for sure as well. Yeah, it's safe if you're using for temple area or anything near your face, because that's a delicate skin. You can dilute it for the face.
Okay, so this is definitely the aroma oil we're talking about as opposed to the Vata massage oil. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. So Bernie says, I get a buzzing sound in my ears and sometimes feel a little dizzy. And when I get out of a car or even stand up from sitting, the sound can be quite loud for a while. It goes after a while, but just wonder if you can advise on it. I'd say a very Vata condition again. And Dr. Naheed, did you hear that one?
Yes, so that's a water condition, definitely, and that's the commonly is known as tinnitus, where you can hear different kind of sounds in the ear. So I would suggest that try to balance your vata with every means possible. So for balancing vata, the best thing is that you're going to incorporate oils from different channels in your body. So you can start with applying oil in your ears in the morning. You can start taking nasal oil in the both nostrils. So it is considered that in Ayurveda that any problem which is occurring above your neck region from here up until here, like in your head, so putting oil in your nose helps you to get really get rid of those problems and like things like that. So I would say that we have a very good combinations of herbs and formulation, which is known as MV16 with us. You can do that twice a day because your tinnitus is like in a very acute state at the moment. And oil massage. So you do oil massage, and the winter is also approaching. So I would say a good oil massage every single day in the morning will help you to calm down your vata, and it will also help you to like slowly overcome this tinnitus. Bilva oil is a very good oil for tinnitus, but I am not sure that you will be able to like get it over here. So I would say mustard oil. You can apply mustard oil in the ears as well. So mustard oil really helps with the tinnitus. Along with that, I would say that tinnitus is also a sign that like the vata is not in the balance state. You're opposite of the light. So any rasayana like MF4 or MF5 can help you with this condition as well.
Okay, so lots of advice there. Actually, tinnitus is a nasty enough condition and it can exacerbate itself. And if you don't do something about it, it becomes worse and manifests itself in other ways as well. So I think there would be no harm in having a consultation with a doctor as well. And as well as the advice that's given there, it is a very Vata condition, but as well as the advice that's given there, because you want to try get rid of that if you can, Bilva oil, we don't stock, but I have seen it on Amazon. So you may be able to get it on Amazon, But okay, Dr. Naheed, your bandwidth is a little low there, it's telling me, and the sound is breaking up a bit, but sure, we'll carry on with it, So Abigail says, with Abhyanga, how do people manage with what they wear? If you leave the oil on for about 20 minutes, any clothes you wear soon start to become saturated with oil after a short time, and it's not really possible to wash the oil out. Any suggestions regarding this? You have to wear, if you're putting clothes on after the Abhyanga, you have to wear really old clothes because they're going to get saturated in oil, And your towels, if you don't wash the oil off very thoroughly, and even if you do wash the oil off very thoroughly, your towels are over time, they're going to build up an oil residue in them as well. And the best thing to do with those towels is just throw them out after a while. And then use, and kind of recycle your old towels that you can use. use for the Abianga, because the thing, like it can be a big problem. I know a laundrette that actually went on fire. I mean, this has happened in many occasions, that the towels become so saturated with oil. It actually happened in a clinic that we were running in Dublin, that we washed the towels, we put them in a tumble dryer, and then we put them in the hot press, and I left the apartment, and an hour later I got a call from the guards who were in my apartment, and the apartment was on fire. And what had happened was the towels had self-combusted in the hot press with the heat. So we were told, the advice after that was not to dry them in the tumble dryer. Now that's an extreme situation, because the towels had been used a lot with oil, but the oil, it is flammable as such, so you need to recycle the towels, and you need to just use old clothes, and you need to wash yourself well when you're finished. But there's nothing you can do about it. That's what Abianga is, Dr. Rajinder, do you have any suggestions on that?
So what you can do is,
I don't want bullshit steering off all our people from doing the Bianca. I think there are a couple of things. The first thing is you can always use paper towel to smear, to rub the excess oils. That's one thing. Another thing you could do is when it comes to washing the towels, soak them overnight in sudsy water. And that should help to draw out some of the oil, so that when you wash them, they're thoroughly washed.
And the soda crystal. Soda crystals. You can get the soda crystals in supermarket, and they also soda crystal help to take the oil out as well.
Okay, so soda crystals will help to
like
to
the
take the
other
oil out.
person said, maybe keep a separate set of clothes and just wear. And you shouldn't be using too much oil either. You can use a kitchen towel or a little paper to wipe off that once you're done with it before you dress up. So,
Dr. Naheed, you're trying to say something there?
breaking up though.
I think your bandwidth is not, your Wi-Fi is not great, Dr. Naheed, so we can't really hear you. I know I can hear something in the background, but we can't really hear you, But anyway, Abigail, so they're the things. You just need to be, as Dr. Brennan says, just use, or as Dr. Rajinder says, just use a smaller amount of oil. Use, what are the crystals again, Rajinder? Soda crystals?
Soda crystals, yeah. It's a
Okay,
green pack. I've seen in the Tesco's. I have used them. They work.
Okay, I don't think that noise is actually coming from Dr. Brennan's computer at all. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but anyway, because Don is on mute, but it was still there. But anyway, we'll carry on.
It's probably you, because I hear it. When I'm speaking, I'm not hearing it. When you're speaking, I hear it.
Okay, I don't know what it would be with me, because I've been doing a fair few Zoom meetings. I haven't had any issues with it, but
Loretta is not hearing it. So
sorry.
Loretta is nodding her head, so she's probably not hearing it. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, if anyone else can hear it, just put it into. If people can hear interference, just say yes or no in the chat box, and we'll see is a problem, So Esther says she wears an old dressing gown and odd socks while the oil is soaking in, and then I have a shower. I do a light dusting of powder before dressing. What kind of, not talcum powder, talc-free powder? I'm curious, so Esther, you'll have to answer that one. So Abigail, again, with the tooth powder MA5592, the second ingredient is saccharum officianarum. I know we shouldn't demonize sugar, but the instructions say to rub it on your teeth, but I can't bring myself to do that. Any tips? Thanks. The tip would be don't use it then. If it's a problem for you, Abigail, that's the simple. Don is trying to get in here, so I will just I'm sure he'll have.
I'm going to mute myself and see if that change.
Okay, you go on mute and Rajinder, and I'll just see when Don is talking here. Don, you should be able to unmute.
Thank you, Noel. Just to say, Abigail, I don't think it's a problem when you understand the rationale for the Ayurvedic doctors putting together these formulas and why they're there in the ancient text. Is that, one ingredient is there to balance and bring out the beneficial effects of another. And if there are in some of the ingredients any possible detrimental effects, there will also be in the herbal complementary herbs to sort that one out, so that the overall effect of the preparation is very, balancing and integrating. And yeah, I know there's a lot of talk about sugar and teeth, but that's because sugar feeds the bacteria, and the constant eating of sugary foods cultivates a bacterial load in plaque, which cause the teeth problem. But the amount of the sugar in this would be quite minimal and very well balanced, and the overall effect would not be sweetness. You won't taste a great sweetness from that powder. So I wouldn't be worried about it, Abigail. It's just use it. It's good.
Yeah, and then you brush your teeth after you use the powder anyway, you know. So but if you feel uncomfortable with it, then don't use it, you know. Is that there's the gum care oil. Check out the gum care oil ingredients, and you know, I find that gum care oil is absolutely fantastic. It's my favorite of all those products, you know. But yeah, so Naheed, please unmute me. So I've done that, Naheed. So Alison says, congratulations to Dr. Naheed. So happy for you, Dr. Naheed. Congratulations on the birth of your baby. So Gillian, so we have a question here. If anyone would like a triphala plus, approximately 240 tablets and a triphala rose, then they may have them free of charge. Doesn't seem to suit me, too drying. I didn't realize triphala plus and triphala rose were the same, and ordered a smaller container, hence 2 containers. My mobile is, so okay, so people can read that themselves. The triphala plus and triphala rose are the same thing. For some reason, different countries named them differently, but triphala plus means triphala plus rose, and triphala rose, it's got rose cabbage in it. Now that's what the Maharishi Ayurveda product has. Some people were asking me about the triphala, some of the tablets are coated and uncoated, but there certainly isn't 2 different tablets available. There's just the 1 tablet available, so I'm presuming different machines are producing them in different way, because like all herbal products, they are a kind of a food product, so they probably, depending on the machine they go through, they turn out differently, you know. So anyone can read that there if they're interested in that, you know. Bernadette Fagan, hi Bernie, looking forward to the detox. I got BP balance in delivery, thought I ordered blissful sleep. Okay, so that's no problem, that's not something for here. Just drop me an email, Bernadette, and I'll sort that out. As torn ligament in food and need sleep, haven't taken before, but do have high cholesterol, so I'll keep. Is it okay to take the detox? Okay, let me read that again. Looking forward to detox. I got blood pressure balance in delivery. Thought I ordered blissful sleep. I can check that. Has torn ligaments in foot and need sleep. Haven't taken before, but do have high cholesterol, so we'll keep it. So okay to take with detox. Well, it's blood pressure balance, so it's not to do. I wouldn't take it, Bernadette, and we'll just swap it out and get you the right product, you know. It wouldn't, and yeah, you wouldn't be taking it during the detox anyway, really, you know. And just drop Dr. Rajvinder an email about that as well, and drop me an email about it as well if something was wrong in an order, and we'll sort that out, you know. Okay, lovely, thanks, Dr. Raj. Stick my head out the window into the sunshine if I get out early. Okay. So Lorraine says, the past year I've had 2 episodes of diverticulitis, which I had never had in the past. I felt better doing fasting and just having soup. I recently started taking triphala in the evening on an empty stomach, and I've been experiencing an upset stomach. Is this related? I'm 54-year-old Kapha dosha and committed to my Sidhi program, which always helps. Is there anything I can do to prevent any attacks in the future? So Lorraine, Baman, I think is how you pronounce that. So Don, do you want to take that? Or someone?
There's two situations. There's diverticulitis and there's diverticulosis. And diverticulosis is where you have little pouches of the lining of the colon pushed out between the muscle fibers that surround them. And these little pouches are something that gradually gather over a lifetime for many people, especially if there's any tendency to constipation, because they have a lot more pressure to evacuate, which creates this budding out of the mucous membranes, creating these little pouches. So that's diverticulosis, a common enough thing. Diverticulitis is an inflammatory process where sort of an infection gets into these pouches, and that then becomes quite painful with a lot more symptoms of discomfort and that. And if it's severe, people end up taking the antibiotics to try and settle it down. Generally, a high fiber diet will provoke it. So if you were getting any symptoms, I'd immediately do as you do. I'd peel all the vegetables and cut the fiber down, like you went on soups, and it started to recover, which was a very good strategy. And then you just gradually wean yourself back onto the more fibrous foods again, and hopefully that would work. I would have thought that triphala should, if anything, be a help. So I just wondered, did you go from soup to a full fibrous diet very quickly there? And I'd wonder as well if it's inflammation, is there a little pitta getting involved at the end of the summer? So maybe Naheed and Rajvinder could comment on that if Rajvinder was unmuted, Noel.
Yeah, okay. But it's not your computer anyway, Don. That's so we'll unmute Rajvinder and see what happens. Hi, Raj.
Hello. Is the noise
I think it is, but anyway, keep going.
No, it is not. I'm hearing from Dr. Brennan, but anyway. Advice Dr. Brennan gave is very good. And I also wonder if you change the time you're taking triphala and see if that helps, because you're taking it in the evening time and probably there is no food after that. So as some people are feeling, it could be a little bit drying as well. So I wonder if you take it after your lunch or after your breakfast, after the meal, and see if that helps.
That helps. Okay. Okay.
And then, you know, don't get constipated. Use appropriate foods and herbals to keep yourself moving.
Okay. Dr. Rajvinder, I'm blaming you for this because it's packing, you know.
I am worried actually, so I don't know what can I.
Mute yourself again, and I'll unmute you when we come to a question for you. You know.
First, we can also add in vata tea because of the soothing ingredients. So vata tea might be helpful for you as well.
Okay. Okay, so that's lots of advice there. So actually, Ian Docker sent me an email. He had 3 questions. I'm not sure we'll get through all 3 of them, but we'll go with one of them anyway. So question 1, my brother has reflux issues, which are thought to be the result to be cause of white sputum with tiny bubbles forming from his mouth and causing him to also cough. Okay, let me just read this again. My brother has reflux issues, which are thought to result be the cause of white sputum, which with tiny bubbles forming from his mouth and causing also the cough. What would Ayurveda say was causing the white sputum to form out of his mouth? From NHS treatment, it is thought to be acid reflux causing irritation of the tube going into the stomach causing the mucus. The treatment they prescribed is PPI. Excuse my pronunciations here, but omeprazole, arlanzapropol, and peptic Gaviscon. So, Don, you seem to have something there you want to say on that?
Well, you know, if somebody's valve at the top of the stomach is a little bit open, it results in some acid coming back up from the stomach into the esophagus or the gullet. It can even come up quite far and start to enter the tube to the lungs. So it can be quite irritating. And the body's response is to create a protective mucus to try and prevent the acidity irritating the linings of those tubes. And it is an issue. I would be very careful about evening meals. If they were light, it would be a lot better. And if they were early, because you put a big heavy meal in your stomach and then you lie down and to go sleep, and you know the whole thing starts to regurgitate back up into the gullet. So I'd have a light early evening meal. There is acid balance tablets that I would take 2 after each meal, because that is to sort of balance the acidity both in the stomach, but that could be a second thing that could be helpful. And Rajvinder probably, or Naheed might like to make a comment. Naheed, maybe?
Actually, Rajvinder, we're doing a webinar on acid reflux on the 26th, which is next Tuesday, I think. So I would recommend that Ian's brother book in and attend that webinar, you know. I'll read out another question and then I'll go over to Dr. Rajvinder. It's just a follow-up on this first question, okay? So question 2, is acid reflux basically caused by poor or incomplete digestion of food? The undigested food turns into ama or toxins. This causes the body's inner intelligence to increase acid to burn up the toxins. The stomach lining then creates more mucus and alkaline substance to balance or protect the stomach wall from the increased acid. All this increasing pressure in the stomach, this increased pressure causes digestive juices to leak into the tube, going into the stomach, causing a burning pain. So that's Ian asking, is that what it is, you know? So Dr. Rajvinder,
Mute.
yeah, I see that. So now, Rajvinder, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yes, yeah, okay. Yeah, the follow-up one is yeah, that's body's intelligence that the mucus lining in the esophagus is irritated, or the stomach lining is irritated. There is inflammation, and in Ayurveda that's what we call ama, and the body is trying to heal it, or it's too much for the stomach to hold on. There are two conditions. There's acid reflux, and then there's GRD, which is the opening of esophagus towards stomach get affected, doesn't close properly, and that can cause the food to come back towards the mouth as well. So if your doctor have given you PPI, which is like a antacid, and if that helps, so it seems like probably is a acid reflux for the moment, or if there is any other medication that is causing this issue. So I don't know your full health history, so might be something else that caused this saliva to build up in your mouth and all that. So Dr. Dawn's recommendation is very good, light diet in the evening, and then the herbal acid balance. You try that and see if that helpful. That is a good herb. And then you can also take slippery alum. Slippery alum will help, as you said that in the explanation of acid reflux, that it is irritated gut lining. So we need a soothing layer on it that can soothe it, like you get a cut and you protect it by a little bandage, or protect from soap, or anything like that. So by not eating any spicy food, any pitta increasing food, simple food could be like tomatoes, which we all eat, but it could be bad for people who have acid issues. So avoiding pitta increasing food as well, and drinking slippery alum tea, or you can get slippery alum capsules. So they will be very beneficial for you. Make sure there's no stress. Stress is a big one for acid reflux. Make sure you sleep well as well. So I consider other factors around the diet as well.
Okay. All right. But as I say, there is a special webinar on acid reflux and GERD, the 26th, that Dr. Rajvinder is preparing. So you can, I've sent that out in newsletter, so anybody can go and book that thing. Ian, I'm thinking I get back to your third question, but we've a lot of questions coming in. So Maureen has said, had to take an antibiotic for bad throat and cough. She still has the cough. Would you recommend prebiotic or probiotics after an antibiotic, or what is the difference between them? So I don't know, Naheed, are you online?
Yes, I am, but I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Is it clear now, right? The voice
Yeah,
is clear
it's
now.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so prebiotic and probiotic are the things like to keep your gut bacteria into a healthy condition. So I would say that instead of taking anything which comes from, which you can buy from the market, you can go for the natural source of probiotic and prebiotics, and that can be easily prepared at your home. That would be the lassi. So you take the natural yogurt, you just blend it a little bit, you just add a pinch of cumin and pepper powder in that, and you have it with your midday meal. That helps to keep your entire digestive system healthy. And along with that, I would say chutneys like coriander and mint. If you can grind them with a little bit of ginger and little bit of cumin seeds in them, that's also a good form of prebiotic. So you can take this in a natural and like a homemade form things. And I'm not sure, like, why are you mentioning that? Can you take antibiotics? So are you taking antibiotics for
She
any
has taken an
particular
antibiotic.
condition, like for any
Yeah, she's already taken the
she
antibiotic,
has
you know. Yeah.
okay for some infection. Yeah, so that's okay if you are taking the prebiotics or probiotics. But I would say go for the natural one. Lassi would be the best option to go with that.
Okay. And I think we have a recipe on our website, on the YouTube channel, for lassie. So it's just basically your natural yogurt mixed with water. And then, as Dr. Naheed said, a little bit of pepper. And what was the other thing you said, Dr. Naheed?
Cumin powder.
Cumin powder and pepper, and drink that. Go ahead, Dr. Don.
Can I just add that, because also the question is, what are they? A prebiotic is it's before. So it's actually for the bacteria in the gut. So it's sort of fiber. So prebiotic foods would be very fibrous foods. And probiotic are the bacteria themselves. So you're actually taking bacteria on board. They're very controversial because it's not known how much will get past the acid in the stomach alive and therefore get into your bowel in the first place. But there's another more research done on what are called spore probiotics. And these spore probiotics are still bacteria with a very tough covering to protect them. And they get through to the bowel, and even 3-4 weeks of them seem to make a huge benefit to the bacteria in the bowel. Spore prebiotics. I'm not sure that they're yet available in the health food shops, but look out for them. And so yes, with the best strategy overall for having a good, diverse, healthy bacteria flora in your bowel is to eat 30 plants every week. That's the one thing that the science comes back to again and again. A great diversity of plant foods. They could be your cumin and your pepper, as well as your vegetables and your fruit and your seeds and your nuts and your parsley, all of them together. There should be 30 every week, because each one feeds a different colony of bacteria, and 30 colonies of bacteria make for a very rich bowel flora.
Yeah, Don, that's great. And actually, the great thing is I've heard that on the mainstream media quite a lot regularly. I was listening to a radio program yesterday. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This professor from Galway talking about preventing chronic disease. And he said, the way to prevent chronic disease, these things, he said, bad diet, bad lifestyle. It can take 20, 30 years for chronic diseases to come up. But he said that's exactly what's happening now. And these chronic diseases are coming up because we're not eating a very healthy, balanced diet. You don't see it straight away, so you think there's no problem, but there is a problem. And he said, we're not living longer, we're dying longer. And if you think about it, meaning that we might be living longer, but we're living longer in an unhealthy state. So what's the point in living, to 90 if the last 20 years are in pain and misery and suffering, So he was saying exactly what Ayurveda has been saying for thousands of years. He was saying diet and lifestyle is the answer to this. And it was, it was absolutely fantastic to hear it and being fully embraced by the radio host. So it's a good thing. So that's and one of the things he said as well was that your condiments, like your cumin seeds and your turmeric, and they're counted in the 30. So it's not that you have to go looking for 30 different vegetables. Probably I couldn't name 30 different vegetables, but I mean, you can actually use these things in as well. And because they've all got qualities to them and phytochemicals to them as well that are obviously very beneficial extremely beneficial for the body. So you include them in and just have a big, healthy diversity of food that you take, So Roberta Shields, hi Roberta, good to see you there. She said Bilba oil, B-I-L-B-A. I think it's Bilba, B-I-L-V-A. Bilba oil is the one that you're looking for, Roberta, for the year. And I have seen it on Amazon. It does take a while to come in. I think they ship it in from India, and depending on how the customs man is feeling that day, you might or you might not get it. But I've certainly managed to get it in at times, Esther Hackett, that's a message we don't want to read out. There was a fire in Mentmore Towers when Napienga was first introduced. Okay, well, we're not trying to scare anybody. My advice for your towels with Napienga is dry them on the line. Don't put them in your tumble dryer. Just dry them naturally on the line is the thing to do. And recycle the towels. Quite regularly, basically, and throw out the old clothes that you use as well, because the oil will build up and then as well, Naheed already answered that, Bilba oil. So okay, I'm not too sure. Bernie's message, I have this just in summer. I don't know what Bernie's message was, and I thought it was
just a repeat, Noel, of the dizziness. We've answered it.
All right, yeah. Okay, so we've covered that, Are the soda crystals for washing the towels? I take it that they are. Rajvinder, I'm definitely finding you guilty of the in noise interference because I switched you off there during
I'm
Dr.
gonna
Brett.
leave. I was gonna leave and join again. Okay, I was thinking, but I want to let you
Okay.
know.
Yeah, there might be some problem with the thing. So soda crystals, they are for washing the towels, aren't they?
Yeah, I censored
Yeah.
my other.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Sally Hayden answered that anyway, and oh, I know that's about the sound. Okay, so they're all hearing interference, but I think we've solved that problem. So I'm going to go to an email question that came in. I haven't actually read these before, so just excuse me if I get hiccups with the pronunciation of some of these words. Really, it should be the doctors that are reading this out. So I have a couple of questions about family members. Well, we'll see. We'll get one done anyway. So this is from Justina. And the first question with regard to treatment of, oh, wow, myasthenia, myasthenia gravis. Dr. Brannan?
Myasthenia gravis.
Yeah,
You're not?
Myasthenia gravis.
Okay.
yeah.
The woman is experiencing mild symptoms, droopy eyelid, and general mild fatigue, worse during her periods. Okay, so that's the first question. So, droopy eyelids and general mild fatigue sounds all very Vata, but Dr. Naheed, do you want to say something about it? Can you hear me, Dr.
Yeah,
Naheed?
myasthenia gravis, I would say that's a condition with your muscle. Yeah, I
Dr.
can.
Naheed,
Can you hear me?
no, we can't hear you. I can't hear what you're saying. I'll hand it over to Dr. Brennan. Dr. Brennan?
Yes, myasthenia gravis. There's a chemical, a transmitter in the muscles that cause muscles to contract from the nerve impulse, and in myasthenia gravis, that somehow or another is not available, and so it starts to be muscle failures. In all honesty, I think that's one where you have to take the medicines, and don't be worried about taking the medicines. I think that they're really good, and they absolutely control the situation. But at the same time, as Noel said, there's strategies from Ayurveda that I would also be using in order to do everything from my side to be as healthy as possible and to heal. And so, and we never know just what extent the healing can go. So I would definitely be balancing the Vata, and I would be doing tonics for the muscles from Ayurveda. But it's probably one for consultation.
Okay, so another question from the same lady is another person has colitis and the symptoms are much less after removing milk and cheese from the diet. She's Vata Pitta. Would you recommend a full panchakarma or better to avoid bastis until the colon is fully healed? Any other suggestions welcomed? So that's to do with colitis. I'm afraid, Dr. Naheed, your sound is not really great, so we're struggling to hear you. Dr. Brennan, colitis?
Yeah, I think you're right. I'd let the bowel settle before doing panchakarmas. In truth, there would probably be bastis that could be used for that problem. But the panchakarma clinics in the West probably are not equipped for that. But Rajvinder, what would you say?
I would like to know more details about the person. I cannot just say straight go for panchakarma because you need to kind of do shamana, which is first calm down the symptoms a bit more. As you're saying, just removing the cheese, just removing the dairy, which could be a big culprit for in this condition because dairy could be very acidic, and there could be some other food but which we can work to eliminate as well. So and then the strength of the person, how strong the person is, so we need to build the strength of the person by giving certain herbs, simple herb which we use like bilva, which again is adding mucus layer to the whole digestive system and all that. And then starting from simple diet and hold the food in the system and help to absorb the nutrients and all that. So I definitely suggest you go for consultation first, and one of the doctor will go with all the details, and if the doctor feel it's appropriate to go for panchakarma, then you go. Otherwise, you may not be able to go straight forward to panchakarma. You might have to wait. Panchakarma is not something that you can do it for every issue. You first need to see there are different lines of treatments, and you need to consider the person's age, person's strength, and so need to see the symptoms. So if the diet is helping, I presume just doing a bit more tweaks in the diet and starting some herbs might be very beneficial, and then maybe able to go for panchakarma.
Yes, exactly. I totally agree with Dr. Rajvinder that colitis sometimes, any inflammatory condition of the bowel or colon or your entire gut, you cannot just straight go to the panchakarma or any detox plan. You need to have a consultation to know more about the condition. And first you need to, if any of the doshas is out of balance, and first you need to like just calm down the inflammatory situation, and then you can go for the panchakarma. Because if you do a detoxification, like if you're doing a virechana, like passing motion several times in the detoxification day, that could irritate your colon further and that can increase the inflammation. So I would say that have a consultation, get your inflammatory condition like a little bit relief, and then think about it.
Okay, so that's the same advice from all of the doctors. So
Yeah.
panchakarma is not, you get the thing sorted out a bit more before considering panchakarma. So Loretta says, I've been experiencing leg cramps when I wake up and stretch in the morning. I started taking magnesium. What are your thoughts, Rajinder?
Yes, you're done the right thing. Sometimes cramps are a magnesium deficiency, and so if they're helping you, definitely keep doing it. Other thing that you can do, it could be a circulatory issue as well. So you might be the extremities are not getting proper blood, might be sitting for longer hours, depends on your work schedule and all. So if you're sitting in front of the desk, I will suggest that you get up after every hour, walk around a bit. And then in the night time or even during day, you can hang your leg against the wall so that the blood kind of move against the gravity. So try to do that, and more breathing exercises to enhance the circulation and for the heart functions and all that. So do this simple strategy and see how they go.
What about Surya Namaskar?
Absolutely, stretching is beneficial for sure.
Yeah. So Loretta, learn the sun salutation. Dr. Naheed, we can't get you. I'm afraid you'll have to sort. I know you've just moved to a new house, but you're going to have to sort out your internet. So we can't get you there, and it's a pity because you always have great advice. But anyway,
yeah, no, I wasn't saying. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Oh, okay, that's
complete.
No, Dr. Naheed, I'm going to have to mute you. Actually, you're just not coming through. You're coming through in bits and pieces, So it's of no use.
No problem. I'll type down.
Okay. Yeah. Now, where am I? Okay, so the next one is, what do the panel think of Ashta Cornam? Ashta Cornam. I have found it more beneficial than triphala. I've never heard of it. So, okay. Yeah. Don, you were coming in there?
Well, it's Ashta Churna. Churna is powder. Ashta is a
Churna. Okay, Ashta Churnam. Okay, sorry. Yeah. That's
a combination of about 8 different spices: ginger, black pepper, long pepper, and so it's very, very good for digestion. And if you're finding it useful, I would definitely encourage it. Rajvinder will have more insight.
No, I know Gillian and I, we were finding it difficult to source, and she's actually finding it very beneficial. It is a good churna, yeah. It's just prepared by another organization. So yeah, it's good, Gillian. So we think it's a good one. If it's helping you again, it's a good one. It's a combination of, I think, trikatu, hingwashtak, things like that. But it will be specifically. I cannot say, mix this, mix that, because we tried to do that as well when you were not able to source it. So yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, Bernie Fagan says, yes, the noise is gone. Marie has a question. I'm not even going to read it out. People can read it in the chat. Marie, we can't answer that. We operate on YouTube, so we couldn't just answer that question. We couldn't say anything about that really, so I'll just skip on from that one. And slippery elm for acid. So Anne says, I had COVID for first time 3 weeks ago and had a lot of anesthetic during dental treatment last Monday. Think I'm getting a UTI this afternoon. Drop the urine sample to docs, waiting for result. Think I'm run down. Appreciate advice, please. So someone who's recovering from COVID, maybe feeling a bit run down and had an anesthetic and not feeling so good. Don?
So the first thing is I'd say drink plenty of fluids, because even just drinking the fluids might clear out the bacteria and might prevent the development of that urinary tract infection. I think MA2 Genitract would be the herbal that we'd have to nourish the urinary tract and to help with a urinary tract problem. But if you've had COVID, and it depends if you're got over it or you still are in the process, then you'll just have to take the extra rest, particularly rest in the afternoons and the early beds, to help your energy start to recover. If you're meditating, and I probably would do just a little bit extra meditation with the TM to help your body to get the energy to heal. And if you have any COVID symptoms of chestiness and phlegm, catarrh, anything like that, I'd go more with a Kapha diet and avoid the dairy, because that would create more mucus from it. Yeah, you just have to rest and get over this. We have a herbal which is specifically designed to help the immunity and is good for COVID. What's the name you have on that, Noel?
Are Defense?
Are Defense?
Yeah. It's designed to help with viral infections, so it's called Are Defense. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but if you put Are Defense into the search box on the website, it'll come up,
Tablet 4 times a day, just initially, and then go down to 2 a day after a couple of days, just to get more of an effect quickly.
Okay. And MA634, someone says, was invaluable when they had COVID to help with the sore throat, So that's another thing that, and it's very good with helping to free up the lungs as well, And
Rajvinder is
trying to get in, is she? Yes. Okay. Now, Raj, you should be able to unmute yourself. No, you muted yourself when I was unmuting you. Hang on a second now. Now you unmute.
Okay. She doesn't have COVID. I think the COVID is gone. She's getting UTI. So I'll be careful with the Air Defense and Kapha diet, because she needs to go on cooling things. So okay. MA2 is what you said, I think will help. And and because she had the COVID, so maybe the cranberry or the vitamin C could be more beneficial. So sorry, I thought that might be.
Okay, no, very good. So we have another question on the email, and this is from Lila Hercules, and it says, my question is, I'm newly diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and was prescribed metformin 500 milligram. I'm experiencing abdominal discomfort. Is there any other treatment that could be more suitable? I have a history of IBS. So a lot in that, really, again, my advice would be a consultation with an Ayurvedic doctor. But anyway, Don.
It's only just diagnosed and it's not too severe. I think she should immediately start in an Ayurvedic program, because I think it could well be reversible at this stage. So, let her consider a consultation.
Yeah, there's a lot in that, and as I always say, these are just really general questions, and it's great because, no matter what the question is, there's always an Ayurvedic way of approaching it. But that's, there's a lot going on there with you, and, you need to try and reverse that, and you can reverse that through, or try to reverse it through diet and lifestyle and herbal preparations as well. So really now, Nahida said Ayurveda has brilliant ways to manage type 2 diabetes. So the strong recommendation, I think, would be to have a consultation with an Ayurvedic doctor to start dealing with that, Grace says, what are your thoughts on intermittent fasting? My own personal thoughts are that I wish I could do more of it. But I always start off with good intentions, and then something distracts me, and I break down on my intermittent fasting. But I feel great when I do it, and I think it's a great idea to give your digestive system a bit of a break. I have picked 2 days of the week where I like to eat lightly, and they are Sunday and Monday. Doesn't always work out. Actually, I'd have to say mostly it doesn't work out, but at least I give it a go anyway,
But, do you ever think why it doesn't work out for you?
Why it doesn't work out for me? Because there's too many coffee shops and people that have to meet and all that sort of stuff.
Because you're picky. Because you're picky.
Yeah, because I have to live a life. I'm a very social person, But anyway,
No,
that's what.
Kapha people, it worked great, but Vata Pitta has to be careful. They can't do too longer. Of course, it is beneficial. So Ayurveda is more like not eating in between your meals. If you're Vata person, you have your 3 meals and try not to snack in between. And the Pitta definitely have to have their lunch, good meal. Normally they replace their lunch with coffee or sandwich, and that's where they can keep up with the fasting, because Pitta would have a strong appetite, a strong metabolism, and they are the one who get hungry. So you really need to first look into that before jumping into intermittent fasting, what kind of digestive system you have and what you need at the moment. So it could be just starting something simple, having a light dinner and having a good lunch, and that is good enough for you. And if you are someone Kapha, strong Kapha, and you have put on weight and you think your blood sugar is fluctuating, which we in the modern term we call it insulin resistance, and then yeah, you can benefit from a 14, 16, 18-hour fasting anyway. Ayurveda has always recommended 12-hour fasting, which is 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. anyway, and a Kapha people can easily extend that to 16 hours or 18 hours. But you need to see your metabolism first. If you're someone who get dizzy, if you're someone who tend to have low blood pressure, things like that, I just say you have to be careful.
Yeah, so it's always comes back to Vata Pitta Kapha in Ayurveda, you know. So as Dr. Rajvindra rightly says, a Vata person might find fasting too long. Kapha, it'll be absolutely great for them, and then Pittas probably are going to struggle to actually do it. But the one thing I have to say is when I do get days where I do eat lightly, I feel great, you know. So, and that will encourage you to do it more often, because again, Pittas like me probably have a tendency to, you know, I don't know whether the word is be a bit greedy or overeat, but you know, just if it's there, you eat it. Like I don't keep biscuits in my. If you ever come to my house for a cup of tea, you better bring your own biscuits, because I don't keep biscuits or cakes or anything in the house, because they'll be gone. That's just the way I am. It's just my nature. They'll just be gone. Like so. I can't do it, so I just don't bother buy them at all, and then that saves the problem. So anyway, RU defense, it's 2 words, RU AYUR, and then defense, or MA1957, and then they'll come up, you know. Now here's a great question, Lillian. Thank you. Which of the 3 doctors should I have a consultation with, please? Now, I'm not going to answer that, because that would make my life unbearable. I have to work with these people, Lillian or Lydia. It's okay. So what I say you do is you've had 3 of the doctors on this evening. So you go with what your inner feeling is. Which one of them were you attracted to? And if you weren't attracted to any of them, then go to Dr. Tritelli. You couldn't make it on tonight, you know. But
Go to all of them.
yeah. So whatever doctor you like, Lila, it's fine. That's a very, very loaded question you asked me there. That's even worse than one about vaccines. But anyway, okay. So Lorraine says intermittent fasting really helped me. I do it 16 hours daily. I'm a Kapha, and I tend to have such a boost of energy. Well, there you are. Yeah, and it's very, very good for Kapha people, as Dr. Rajvinder said. You know. So Gillian, any suggestions for Raynaud disease? Very cold feet.
Definitely don't go swimming with Noel. It inevitably comes up.
You need to be a Pitta to go swimming with me. I was in swimming today. The water is absolutely beautiful. But anyway,
yeah, I never had a problem. And then in recent times, trying to keep up with Noel, which is a hard act. I come out of there, and the next thing, the hands gone, all the fingers gone totally pale. They're wonderful, aren't they, Noel? And then they start tingling, and the whole works. And I've taken it that my body's telling me no in certain terms. That's not for you, babes. So it's a Vata problem, very obviously. I think you want to regularly do your own massage. I think that would be quite helpful. Do your own massage regularly, but also do things that, you know, settle Vata, have a good routine, meals, and what herbal would you use, Raj, or would there be any herbal that might really work? But she's poor old Raj is. We have
mute her because you're free now, talk away.
Want to keep you muted? Yeah, I would say more ginger in your diet, definitely. Yeah. And we don't have any particular herbs, but I think ashwagandha can work. Need to see if the person can tolerate ashwagandha. If it's Gillian, yeah, I think it can work for Gillian. Yeah, so ashwagandha is very good for circulation, increasing oxygen to your in body tissues. So then you can try that one. And Jillian is I think you have vata in your constitution, so definitely the warming herbs gonna help you, like ginger, cinnamon. Dr. Nahid said their cinnamon ginger tea is very good. Abhyanga can be helpful. Yeah, I'd say you can use the 634 oil that you said worked very well for your sore throat. That could be because it is stimulating. It's going to stimulate the capillaries and the blood channels. So you can do that mixing with the base oil, mixing with your sesame oil. That can help, and the direction is upward towards your heart. You can do that.
Thanks, Bernard, for your help with this. See, Bernard, Bernadette has given me a solution now. Gloves and warm swim boots and a rosemary tea before I swim.
Well, that's great. Now I know what to get you for Christmas. So that's great. I'll just make a note of that here, Gloves and or you could just toughen up, Okay, gloves and I'll get the gloves, Rajvinder. You get him the boots, okay? And then what was the other thing? Nahid can get you that. Rosemary tea, yeah. Okay, we're all set. That's one problem solved anyway. Silver socks are good for cold feet. Well, there you go.
Jakers sound expensive.
Yeah, I'm not getting to them. Okay, silver socks. So that's it. We've come to the end of the questions. And have we come to the end of the questions here as well? Yeah, I think we have. Maybe we'll go back to Ian Docker had one, which was slightly philosophical, but we'll have a look at it if I can get into this. For some reason I can't. Oh, hang on a second. So Ian Docker's third question, you're getting value for money tonight, Ian. In Maharishi Ayurveda, we talk of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. In terms of consciousness and Maharishi Ayurveda being a consciousness-based approach to health, I can see Dr. Brennan getting very excited about this question. Is Vata the observer value of consciousness, Pitta the process of observation, and Kapha the observed value? So there is a 3-in-1 structure in Vedic knowledge, and it's called Rishi, Devata, and Chandas. We also have Vata, Pitta, Kapha. We have all these different things, but Maharishi, described it to us as there's in anything that's going on, there's always 3 things. There's always the observer, so that's yourself, the person who's observing. There's the process of observing, so that's whether it's through sight or through hearing or through touch or whatever the actual sense is. And then there's the observed, what you're actually picking up, and they're called Rishi, Devata, and Chandas. And Ian is trying to ask, do they relate to Vata, Pitta, and Kapha? And if so, which one is which? So, Dr. Brennan, I think that's your area of expertise.
Wow, lovely question, Ian. And it takes us back to the fundamental as to who we are. And whereas we see ourselves and observe ourselves and our thoughts and our feelings, and the ultimate source is just one underlying reality, which is consciousness. And that is the essence of our being. Every one of us is consciousness. And every one of us is a unique individual manifest expression of that same underlying reality which we are, which is consciousness. So our problem is that we have looked out into the whole diverse universe, and we have lost our memory of ourself, which is consciousness at the basis. So having lost the awareness of the oneness and unified wholeness of life, of which we are just a lovely wave or ripple on the ocean of being, of consciousness, we have lost the oneness, and we are now completely caught up in all the diverse aspects of life. So the whole flow of life is from this unity to diversity, and this infinite field of diversity out here. So what we end up with is because of the diversity, there's innumerable expressions of consciousness, and in this field of expressions of consciousness, there's relationships. So I'm relating to you at the moment, you're relating to the seat you're sitting on. Everything is experienced really in terms of our relationships. And those relationships have to be brought into a very balanced state for us to regain our memory of our whole essence and full potential of love and joy and energy, which is this field of consciousness. So the Ayurveda and the Vedic tradition beautifully shows how the three fundamentals at the very basis is where that one field starts to become three. Consciousness becomes a knower, it becomes a process of knowing, and it's known value. I know you. So there's consciousness, there's the process of knowing, and there's you, the known, whereas you know me. So, that's your tripod. But in this, there's a relationship between consciousness and the process. And this relationship has its qualities. Those are the qualities of Vata. So Vata, the qualities of Vata, light, quick moving, cold, dry, rough, they're really expressing this fundamental dynamics of this initial relationship of the knower with the process. And then the process of knowing with the known value, that's the qualities of Pitta, the hot, sharp, fluid, slightly oily qualities of Pitta are really the qualities of that specific aspect of this relationship. And then the third is the qualities of Kapha, which relate to knower and known. And we have so these three sets of qualities in this fundamental unfoldment of our own unified wholeness into all our various things that we know. There's these three sets of qualities. If those qualities were balanced, then the balance of those qualities recreates the reality that we awaken to and cognize the oneness again, that I and you are one. And that's the state of swastha, to be established in the self. That's the word for health in Ayurveda. I am swastha, established in myself. I am established in that one unified wholeness where I observe you as a wonderful manifest expression of consciousness. I recognize you for who you are. We are one. That comes about when I achieve the balance. That's why we're here on this world. That's why we are drawn to Ayurveda, because it ultimately takes us to the highest pinnacle of human potential. That's where we want to go. Thank you, Ian, for the question.
Yeah, good question, Ian. Good question, Ian. Actually, I think Marishi's given lectures about that as well, but there's probably a lot in it, But anyway, so Ian, you got all three questions answered. I think Tony Nader discusses this on YouTube. That's from Bernadette Fagan, so that's great. So you can go on to Dr. Tony Nader's channel, which reminds me, that there's a very, very big event coming up, a life-changing event coming up that's been confirmed now for December the 29th, and the venue has also been confirmed, and that is a gathering of hopefully 10,000 people who practice TM and the TM Sidhi program, along with quite a lot of Indian pundits who will be chanting Vedic recitations as well and doing yagyas, and that's going to take place in Hyderabad in India from the 29th of December until the 13th of January. And I've been waiting for the venue announcement for this for quite a while. It came there through during the week. I'm going. Hopefully my brother and sister-in-law are going, and Declan Dever, a good friend of mine, is going, and lots of Irish teachers are going as well, and lots of Irish meditators are going. And if you practice TM or you want to learn the Siddhis over there as well, which is a possibility, this is really a once-in-a-lifetime event that's going to happen. I was in a large group of meditators in 1993 in Washington, D.C. I believe you were there as well, Dr. Brennan. And it wasn't anywhere near 10,000. I think I was in a hall in Maryland University in the gymnasium. There was about 700 or 800 people meditating in the hall at the same time. And then there was other groups on different parts of the campus. And it was absolutely life transforming event, because when people meditate together, like it's like this coherence thing. Like if you have one speaker, you get a certain sound of it, but if you have two speakers or three speakers, then you square it. You're getting three threes, you're getting 9 times the volume of one speaker with 3 speakers if they're together and if they're working together. And this idea of coherence is everywhere in nature. That's all a laser is. It's just light, but it's coherent light, as in the wavelengths are all the same, and therefore it's much more powerful because it's much more coherent. And Maharishi always wanted to have large groups of meditators practicing together, and this thing is called the event is called, it's for world peace. It's hopefully going to have very big transformational value on the world as a whole, because 10,000 people meditating together is a lot of people, and so
his intention as well, wasn't it, Noel? Because he wanted to bring about a world which was totally at peace, and where people in the world were living fulfilled and happy lives. And he predicted 1% of people doing TM, and research confirmed in the 1970s, when cities where there were 1% had learned TM, their crime rate, their accident rate, all the negative statistics dropped in comparison to the cities that didn't have 1% doing their meditation, where their statistics were continuing to disimprove. And eventually, there's been about 50 different sociological studies which have shown this effect, that a large group of people together transcending, which is to actually settle within, and it awakens that field of consciousness, that oneness in human awareness, so that the whole of the world will be impacted by a group of 10,000 doing these ancient traditional practices. This is as was described in the old texts. This is as Maharishi revived the old texts, and now there's a practical strategy. So after, the whole purpose in this is to get a permanent group. Now, hardly had they made the announcement when a big donor came along. He will fund in India the gathering of enough people to make this happen. And so it's going to happen, and you're going to see the consequences of this next year. Well, there'll be a lot more common sense coming into global events. So from the 29th of January, just see how your own meditations are. Yes, thanks, Noel. 29th of December for 2 weeks, just see how your own TM is going. I bet you'll feel the effect.
Yeah, it'll be a great event. And if you haven't learned TM, learn TM and go there. I mean, this will be an absolutely life-changing event. And it's not expensive. It's not too expensive. Like, I think if you're willing to share accommodation, it can be as little as €700 for the 2 weeks, including all your food and the whole course, which, that's not there. Then there are different options depending on how much money you have, and how much you want to spend, So Lorraine says she's going to this event. I hope to meet you there. Well, I'll be there, Lorraine, and so will a lot of people that you probably know from these calls. Alison said so excited.
Noel will stick out like a mile, even amongst 10,000. So you'll find him.
Yeah. Please email any news on chartered flights. I'm going, can't wait, from Bernie. Bernie, I don't know about this chartered flight thing. I mean, I booked my flight there today, and I would advise people to book their flights to Hyderabad now, because the closer you get to Christmas, the more expensive it's going to be. I don't see the reality of having chartering flights. There's lots of flights flying into Hyderabad anyway. It's a major travel hub. So I personally, I wouldn't be hanging around for that, unless you have some news on that, Dr. Don.
Yeah, I think they're working on it in the UK, and the intention is to bring out a charter flight group and to bring them out a couple of days early and to get them on the campus where they can rest up for a few days first. So they are actively working on it. So we live in hope.
Okay. Well, and again, I've heard that nobody's to go anywhere near the campus until the 29th. So that's kind of contradicting that a bit as well. So, but anyway, you can get chartered flights. You can get flights there, and they're reasonable enough, Okay, so Alison is saying maybe also contact the Dome and Scam. Okay, chartered flights I know nothing about, so you'll have to work that one out for yourself, Jean says, can we join online? I'm not so sure. I don't know about that, Jean, possibly. But again, it's nothing. We're not involved in the organization of this, so maybe they will have something where people can join online. It would make sense to have people joining online. What are the dates again? The 29th of December, but they do want you to arrive out in India around the 27th and just stay in a hotel hotel and rest up for a day or two, you know. 29th of December until the 13th of January. Thanks for this. Okay, so there's Buddhist student chanting for Peace Daily as well. Yeah, no, that's great. The more people doing these things, the better. 557 flight price the last time I looked. Well, if you can get a flight to Hyderabad return for 557, I would absolutely grab that right now. I didn't see any prices like that recently, but I would definitely grab that right now, you know. Okay, everybody, that's fantastic. We have our webinar next week with Dr. Rajvinder. And that's going to be on acid reflux. So that's on the 26th. I'll send a recording of this. I'll send a recording of this Q&A out on Saturday. I'll also send details of the webinar that Dr. Rajvinder will be doing next week on acid reflux and GERD. And I'll also, well, oh yeah, we did a nice video with Dr. Brennan during the week on Cytoplan 50 plus. So I think that's it. I think we've come to the end of everything. Okay, so that's fantastic. I now have all my shopping thing for Christmas. I have to get Dr. Brennan silver socks, and I've got the Dr. Rajvinder a new computer. So these Q&As are costing me a fortune, but anyway, that's the way of it. Okay, Dr. Naheed, I'm sorry about your sound. It didn't work out. I'm not too sure if you're still there. And welcome back to Ireland. It was great having you back on. It was great having you back on, and hopefully the next time we do a Q&A, the sound system will be all solved, and hopefully we'll get up to see you very soon and see your new baby as well, you know. Okay, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Noel.
Yeah, Naheed will definitely be up to see you soon. We're very keen to see this new baby.
I'll be waiting. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Jacob, everybody, thanks very much, and we will connect again. We'll have another call, and this is September. We'll have another call in October, and I'll be in touch with everybody online in the meantime anyway, you know. Thanks very much. Margaret says, brilliant session. Yes, it was. It's always a delight to be on, and it's always great to see the level of knowledge that the doctors have. It never fails to amaze me how Ayurveda has, you know, something to offer for everybody and everything, you know. Okay, thanks very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.